soundbar keeps coming unplugged. This doesn't work.
Well, good timing. We've got a solution for that. Harbor Freight just came out with a brand new switch panel. They sent me one. Let's check it out. Okay, Harbor Freight just came out with this roadshock 8-switch panel. This is awesome that they've got an in-house product now, so you don't have to go onto Amazon or elsewhere to look for a way to control all of your roadshock lights that Harbor Freight also has been selling and carrying for quite a while now. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get it installed in the Razor, and we're also going to install a light bar because the headlights on that thing are terrible and the girls love to rip around here at night. We're going to set these little pod lights up as like ditch lights. So I grabbed a wiring kit to go with it and some mounts to hopefully make the light bar install go a little bit easier. We put this sound bar in. It's just an Amazon buy, but the girls wanted their tunes, and it's worked great, and the Bluetooth connectability has been awesome. But the power cord that it comes with is just a cigarette lighter, and they're bouncing around so much, it just keeps coming unplugged. So I think we're going to cut that, and we're going to wire it into the switch panel. That way, when they want to power up the sound bar, they can just turn it on. We've also got this Lowrance GPS that I would like to run off of the switch panel too. The basic configuration, you mount the buttons where you want them. You plug that into the power module. You give it power from the ignition, so it fires all that up. Got a big resettable circuit breaker here, and then wire that into the battery, and then run all of your individual outputs and circuits off of that. Since Madeline wants to learn a little bit more about mechanics and everything in the garage, she's going to help install because it's her Razor.
Get Muffin all wired up.
Wired up. I'm not going to bore you guys with any of the unboxing or anything like that. As we get the components out and we use them and we figure out how to connect them and make them work, we'll show you the details. Did you girls find a mounting location?
Yes.
2. Okay, let's see them.
One that we like, one that we don't.
Yeah, but the second one's a backup.
A backup? Okay.
So this is the first one that works, so we can do this.
So our favorite is right here in the middle because it all like lines up with all the controls.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yep. But we're not sure if it'll work because of that thing.
Okay.
So then our second idea is right here.
But at the same time, we wanted to be over there, so if like somebody's driving and the driver's like, I need this, then I can't just reach over.
Right. This only the driver could control.
Yeah.
But then this lines up with like all the controls where it's more put together.
Okay.
And it covers up the whole.
You know what I wonder we could do too is we could probably have that control these functions also.
Oh, okay.
We'll see if it came with labels for like 4-wheel drive.
It did, I think.
Because we could probably have that switch panel control the 4-wheel drive and the headlights. And then we could center that panel up in here and make a real nice like faceplate for it.
Sweet.
Okay.
I saw those, the stickers, the 4-wheel drive.
It came with stickers?
Yeah, the stickers. Right here, stickers.
Oh, the labels?
Yeah, the stickers.
So what do we got?
Fish box.
No, we're not kidding.
Still don't know what a fish box
Right
is.
here.
Oh yeah, okay. And then what's the other one? Headlights?
Yeah, we've got light bar, cubes, roof, rear,
Oh
fog,
yeah.
grill,
Oh yeah.
amber, fog lights,
Roof.
Okay.
cargo.
We can make snow?
We need a fish box.
What is a fish box?
I don't know, but we need one.
It's a box for your fish. Because if
We
you
need a
take
siren.
Quite a big distance to connect to the switch panel, so I'm guessing we'll end up putting this under the dash or under the seat. So we'll find a good mounting location for this, and we'll show you guys what we come up with.
How many things can go on one?
Well, as long as you don't exceed the amperage, but when you touch the button, everything on that circuit will come on. So like we could, if we always wanted the pod lights to come on with the light bar, we could add up the amperage.
You got a light bar?
Yeah.
That's the light bar.
We could add up the amperage and we could put them all on one circuit. Like together, what's 9 plus 4?
13.
Okay, so we could easily put both of those on one of the 20 amp circuits, and then it could just be labeled lights, and when you turn it on, they all come on. Or we could have them separate.
Let's do that. Like all the lights.
Okay.
And it's like, I need lights.
How are the headlights on that thing at night, Kenna? Not good, huh?
No.
It's gonna be like daylight now. It's gonna be like Bluey.
Flashlight. Yes.
Bluey's so bright.
Bluey looks like daytime.
So now we're just doing the tedious part of wiring up each device. So this is the power negative for the power and ground for the soundbar, I think. Yeah. We had to extend the factory wires that come off it a little bit. What we've been doing for each device along the way is looking up on the manufacturer website, whether it's the roadshock lights from Harbor Freight or like their energy usage was listed in their manual, or like the soundbar, which I'm sure we threw away the paperwork a long time ago. Madeline looked up its energy usage online. It said to use a 10 amp fuse. So we're just kind of going off of that to decide which circuit to put it in. But it's as simple as get a positive and a ground for each device, and just plug them into the little kind of screw down ports on the main unit. So I'm just doing that one by one, picking the circuits, and then we'll label all the buttons later and stuff when we're done. About done plugging in accessories. We're gonna have the pod lights, the light bar, the sound bar, the low rants. I put the factory four-wheel drive switch and the factory headlights into it too.
So we put these pod lights on, and they're hooked up somewhere. There's a lot of wires. We got the other pod light here. These wires all together connects over here. And that one goes to the sound bar. So now we don't have the cord annoyingly bouncing in between the seats, plugging in right there because the seats go here. And then we've got our super sick light bar up here.
Roadshock.
Roadshock.
32-inch. I bought this thinking I would need it, and I really don't, because this is Roadshock wiring harness for their light bars. So I'm going to list the part number and price for this, and how if you bought this for each, because this is hook up to battery, it's got a relay, it's got a switch, and then it's got power out to whatever light bar that you're wiring it to. But when you buy this switch panel, it replaces this times 8. So that's pretty cool that you don't have to run all this, find homes for all this. All you have to do is take your device, your light bar, your sound bar, your GPS unit, and just take the positive and negative and run them straight to that unit. So pretty cool. I think it by the time you hook up 8 devices, it probably pays for itself. But I'll do the math on that when we're done. Right now, we just want to get it all wired so we can play with it.
The control panel is going to go right there. So all the wires go under, which is what he's connecting, and then we'll put it right there. So as you could see, the control plate where that's going to go, there were a bunch of holes. So we made this filler plate and mounted the roadshock control panel on top, spray painted it black because it was just gray metal, and then that will go right over here where all the holes are. Make it nice and clean and fresh.
Okay, we've got everything hooked up. The hardest part is always routing wires, but it's really simple. It's just the switch panel itself plugs into the power module, and then you excite the power module with an accessory wire. So in this case, I used the accessory circuit of the side-by-side, and then a black wire all the way to vehicle battery, and a hot wire to a circuit breaker that they include, and then from there to the power module. So did all that and then put all our accessories on. Okay, so the accessories we wired in today are the 3-inch Roadshock LED pods, the 32-inch Roadshock LED light bar, our low rants GPS, this Bluetooth soundbar that we've had for about a year or so that we got off Amazon, and then what we hopefully also got right was I removed since we mounted the switch panel where the headlight switch and the four-wheel drive switch was, I cut those wires and wired them into the Roadshock switch panel too. So hopefully if we got this right, we control the four-wheel drive and the headlights now through that. What do you think? First power up?
Yep.
This is GPS, and that's on. Okay. What's this one gonna be?
Bluetooth mode.
Bluetooth mode. Stereo.
Oh, those are the lights.
The pods?
The pods.
This one should be the light bar.
Nope, headlights.
Okay, headlights. This one's light bar.
Yep, that's light bar.
Okay. And then the other two we're not using? Is that everything? Yeah, we're not using the big ones. We're saving them in case, I don't even know what. So 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive should be this one. So now we can label them. So we didn't even use the 2 big circuits at all, the 30 amp circuits. So we've got the light bar on a 20, the headlights on a 20, the pods on a 10, the stereo on a 10, the GPS on a 5, and the 4x4 switch on a 5. Need to make sure that one actually works. I'm not sure I wired that one right. Probably could have showed you guys this stuff on the bench, but hey, let's just do it now. All right, so what we've got is the included 60 amp relay. I just made a quick little bracket and tack welded it onto the dash frame here. So this is the circuit breaker. So power coming in from my battery on this side, and then out and around into the power module right here. And then the ground I have coming out and going, clean the paint off, put it to there, because the battery ground actually goes to the chassis too. So the chassis should be able to carry all the current, no problem. The way the power module works here is each circuit that you want to use just has a positive and a negative. So you've got the 2 5 amps, the 2 10s, the 2 20s, and the 2 30s, which we're not using yet. And you just bring them in and run each light or accessory that way. The only one that didn't work on is the 4-wheel drive switch, because the way switch panel is meant to work is it wants to send out power and ground, but the way the Polaris 4-wheel drive works is you're just completing a ground circuit. So I added in a little like Bosch 30 amp relay. So now the switch panel closes the small side of the relay, and then on each leg of the big side of the relay, the 87 and 30, I put the factory Polaris wires. That way it can just close those 2 wires the way the factory switch did. We got the back wheels in the air, and we'll put it in 2-wheel drive, and then we'll click the switch and see if it's working in 4-wheel drive. Go ahead. All right, go ahead and run it in 2-wheel drive. Okay, so there's 2-wheel drive. Now bring it to a stop. Now engage 4-wheel drive. Okay. Now go. Yes!
Got it.
All right, we got it. We got all the functions working, so let's go turn on the lights and get ready to start adjusting them up. Okay, light it up, kiddo. Which one are you gonna show me? Woo, light bar.
Headlights.
Headlights.
Tube lights.
Oh, they're on flashing mode.
You never switched it back.
No, it was double tap, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, there you go. Red.
Okay. Alright, radio. Ready? Let's see it.
Let's see what you got.
Light bar. Headlights. Tube lights.
Nope,
Oh.
that's light bar again.
Oh, there we got tube lights and light bar. Well, I pressed tube light. Oh, light bar. That's weird.
All right, what else can you turn on?
Stereo. GPS.
Sweet.
Kenneth's excited. Get in there. Come on, Kenneth. You want some back?
Whoa, I need to get in. Now what?
Well, what do you mean, what? It's warming up.
More about faster. I want to put a button. Now the button.
Yeah, the light bar.
Oh.
Do that again.
Whoa.
Oh, that's it.
Do I accept that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
What do I do?
It's got to acquire satellites. It still thinks we're in Johnson Valley. Full disclaimer, we are in no way condoning operation of a UTV without helmets on, but we're just parking this thing to take some photos and adjust the lights. Whoa!
Woo.
What are your thoughts?
So good. It's like daylight out here. So the headlights are still pretty dim.
Okay, there's headlights.
There's just headlights. This is just light bar. And this is just cube.
Oh, those are nice. That's for like a very,
Right?
that's a big wide flood.
It is. It kind of shows all around.
So add the light bar now? Oh yeah, a lot of spot right out front.
Yeah, and then when I'm driving too with the light bar, I can see the spot in front.
Okay. Is it
There's
too
like a
low or?
No,
Okay.
perfect.
Awesome. All right, you wanna put it away?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here's kind of one last test I thought to show is get this thing set on DC volts and the unit is running with nothing on. And we'll check voltage at the panel. So we're 14.13 with nothing on. And then I'll just see if I can hold the electrodes here and then turn stuff on one at a time. All right, so let's turn on the factory headlights. So that's like a volt right there. More than a volt, just the factory headlights. Headlights off. So with the factory headlights off, 14.2, they are a huge voltage draw. Look at that, way over a volt. Let's turn them back off. So now let's turn on the 32-inch light bar. Look at that, only a couple tenths of a volt to run all that LED lighting. That's crazy. And then here's the cubes. Barely over a tenth of a volt. Soundbar. Very efficient. Once again, factory headlights from 14.2. Look at that, sub 13. I should just delete those things. So that started, the idea to do that little test right now started as, gee, I wonder if the factory stator charging system in this thing could keep up with all the accessories we put on it. And at first I tested the voltage with everything on and yeah, it's below resting battery voltage. So I was like, oh, that's not good. So I was like, well, what can it run? And that's when I realized that the factory headlights, granted I have the high and low wired together, so when I'm turning them on, I'm getting both, but that was an attempt to get some decent illumination out of them. They are a huge draw. So that really just goes to show over 1 volt drop with the factory headlights on. And I will show you here when it gets dark how pathetic they are versus a tenth of a volt drop with the cubes on. And then I think we just had a couple tenths with the 32-inch light bar. So I'm gonna park this thing tonight when it gets dark and I'm gonna turn on each of the 3 lights separately and show you what the illumination is. But man, if you don't have LEDs on your off-road stuff, you've got to do it. All right, let's do some illumination tests here. So here is stock headlights. Here's the cubes, which are both just flood. And there's the light bar. So again, headlights, light bar. And then the cubes, you can see how the cubes add the kind of fill in there on the sides. So it adds quite a bit off the side. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Be sure to check out the roadshock 8-gang switch panel available at Harbor Freight.